Dr. Allen?
Yes, thank you, Andrea, and thanks to all of the alumni here today for this engagement opportunity. I'm going to turn it over to Madam President, Leah Williams. Leah, I think you're on mute.
Oops. Hi, can you all hear me now? Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
So good evening and welcome to this alumni forum event. My name is Leah Williams. I am the president of our Delaware State University Alumni Association. And on behalf of our DSUAA, I would like to just thank you all for joining and participating in this event. We are greatly excited to have Dr. Allen and members of his leadership team here with us today to share key university initiatives, goals, highlight university accomplishments, and to especially provide an opportunity early in this academic year for alumni to interact directly with Dr. Allen and his team, especially those who have not yet had a chance to, visit campus yet this year. So we're greatly, appreciative of Dr. Allen. We're grateful for his leadership and are proud of everything that our university has been able to accomplish. As far as the structure of today's event, we will begin with remarks from Dr. Allen, followed by Q&A from our DSUAA leadership team, and then we will open the floor for questions from the audience and those in attendance. I did just want to mention a couple of items before we begin. First, I would like to recognize our National DSUAA officers team building bridges. It is a pleasure to work with each of you, and I am grateful to be a part of your team. A special shout out to Antoinette Blake, our recording secretary, as today is her birthday. I would also like to recognize our local chapter presidents and their members and all the work that they do, their outstanding job in ensuring that DSU is represented at their local level in their communities. And then lastly, I would just like to thank all of our financial members, as through your support, we are able to directly impact the university and to support the university in its mission and goals. So thank you all again for attending. Thank you, Dr. Allen and your leadership team for participating. And now it is my pleasure to turn it over and welcome our 12th president of Delaware State University, Dr. Tony Allen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Leah. Always a pleasure to be with you and see you. I can't thank you enough for your leadership and that of your executive committee. I had the great opportunity, as you know, to spend some time with you all last week. And in addition to what I think are exceptional alum and citizens and professionals, the range of age group that comes with your leadership is incredible. Be able to represent so many folks from so many different eras at Delaware State University, I just think is wonderful to see. To the alum, I am happy to be here with you as always. We had a specific push last year to make sure that we were talking with all the alumni chapters in the network. You can count on that happening again this year, in addition to the forums that the National Alumni Association has. I'll talk for a few minutes just to give you an update on where Delaware State University is, but I think the meat of this topic is really what's on your minds. You have a sense of the direction we're going in, but I am always made better after a Q&A with the alum, really thinking about what's top of mind for you, how you can help the university, and where you see us going. So please feel free to ask any and all questions. As I've said, the best way to be is candid and transparent one with another. And when we do that, I think we're a better university for it. So I'm going to share my screen in a second here. I think you all should be able to see it now. This was the home opener, and I know many of you were there. I was beyond excited to say that we sold out the football game for the first time since 2007. So after you have done the right thing with respect to protocol, built capacity in a thoughtful way so that folks are safe, students, faculty, and staff, you can have some fun. And we certainly had some fun in both of our home games, but certainly this one was a really special one to see so many fans rooting for Delaware State. And you can see this is the section, the visitor section, but on the left, you'll see, I think, three stands of students, which really does my heart proud to see so many students cheering on their classmates. I start with this one because it's pretty emblematic of where I think we have come and where I think we're going. So we are in fact bigger. I know that we are stronger. we have to get better. I've been telling my team this throughout the time that I have been here, and certainly know that there are areas where we can improve, areas where you can help us improve, and areas that are going to make our improvement really take Delaware State University to the next level. I'm quite proud of what you saw in 2020 through the pandemic from your university, but there's a lot more room for us to grow. So bigger, we're at record enrollment. We have more students at Delaware State University than any other time in the university's history. And you can see on all scores, enrollment is up. Overall, 15%, freshman class up almost 25%, transfers up 64%. Our graduate student population is a fun fact. 2 years ago, we were at about 400 graduate students at Delaware State University. Today, we're up above 800. Just think about that growth in and of itself and what that means for folks taking another look at Delaware State University beyond their undergraduate degree. You also see that we have about 400 Wesley, legacy Wesley students, 2,600 residential students on campus. That's more than we've ever had on campus before as well. And then 262 full-time equivalent faculty. You see the chart on the right just tells you where we've been over a fair amount of time here. And you see 2009, we were just above 3,000. Look at us today. That really is emblematic of the areas we thought we could have real growth prospects in, make sure that we were connecting with people the right way, and most importantly, telling the Delaware State story. We've also made a critical leap forward. So we don't call Wesley College anymore. We call it DSU Downtown. And DSU Downtown is made up of about 21 buildings on 50 acres of land. We could have waited a year before we populated that campus, but we wanted to engage very directly there quickly. So this fall, we house 200 plus students on campus, about 200 more faculty there as well, and are operating 70 classes this fall. The College of Health and Behavioral Sciences is in full operation under alum Dr. Gwen Scott Jones, who I'm sure many of you know, and it's going very, very well as we move forward here. There is more opportunity for us to grow into the space, so you'll see us do that both in the spring and next fall as well. But I encourage you, particularly when you're here for homecoming, to visit DSU Downtown. We're very, very proud that we were able to make that critical leap forward. Many of you also know that we were gifted a property right on the Wilmington riverfront from Capital One. That property is in our possession now. We settled on August 31st. We have an anticipated move-in of October. We already have 3 potential tenants, but this is 6 floors of outstanding space right along the Wilmington riverfront. It's valued at about $4.8 million. And it is 2 things for us. Allows us to return to Wilmington proper, which we thought was very important for our own strategic interest, and gives us an opportunity to really continue to build our graduate, adult, and continuing studies program in the largest footprint in the state of Delaware. We're stronger. Our fiscal health is significantly better than it's been at the university for some time now. You'll notice our cash position, our reserve, and our $43 million endowment. Those are things that we talk about regularly. Fiscal health is very important for the long-term survival of the university. So this is nothing we plant flags on. We're thinking about this every day. And one of the things I'm most proud about is your continued support. Both your time, talent, and treasure are very important to how we guide the university. But we want you to know that that is actually paying significant dividends as we think about the future of the organization. We're also strong with respect to investments. People are wanting to invest in Delaware State. Just since July 1, $7 million in gifts and grants. Now, you might remember last fiscal year, we raised over about $40 million over the course of the whole year. We still have lots of months to go in this regard. And the names I am proud to say are of some really iconic brands. So think of DuPont and Barclays and Charles Schwab, and then some of those federal connections we have, particularly as it relates to the Department of Defense and the National Institute of Health, and the Department of Agriculture. If I were able to put down all the brands that we have relationships with, it would literally fill up my entire presentation. So know that Delaware State's name is getting out there in the right way. And we're also making sure that we are the best value for all of these organizations and getting good return. You'll see on the right a picture of our graduate students, our STEM graduate students. DuPont just gave all of them a MacBook because they weren't able to participate in our Apple program for undergraduates. It was a really big moment for us for two reasons. One, DuPont, as you know, has an iconic brand, but also it is really restarting that relationship in a substantive way. And I got to give a lot of credit to Miyoshi Albane, who's front and center there, also a graduate of Delaware State University and a member of the DuPont team that really made this come to life. So that is an alum using her own network to build capacity for her beloved alma mater. It makes me quite proud. Our vaccination rates are significant. We are at a 99% student vaccination rate, which I'm quite proud of. I think you all noted your alma mater had one of the best testing protocols in the country. As we move toward vaccination, we did want all of our students, faculty, and staff vaccinated. You can see that on the student side, we've made significant progress. On the faculty and staff side, we're upwards of 70% and incentivizing them along the way. So we hope to have that fully vaccinated campus, except for religious and medical exceptions as we move forward here. But you can also see that we continue to test. So whether you're vaccinated or not, you have to test several times a week. And we record those tests. So from August 23rd, when school first opened till now, we've had 8,443 COVID tests conducted. It's worth noting that we are doing our own tests now. You may remember that Newcastle County gave us $5 million to build a COVID testing lab in our Newcastle County location. So Dr. Derek Scott, an incredible scholar, has built that lab and is doing the test for Delaware State and other communities across the state. You'll see that we have 36 positives out of those 8,400 tests, which is a 0.42 positivity rate. So we are continuing to be thoughtful as it relates to keeping our campus in a bubble of sorts and keeping our university community safe. I hope you've all seen the national rankings from last week. I can tell you that all rankings are not created equal, and they don't tell you the whole of any one university's story. But the U.S. News and World Report is the gold standard. And in many respects, what they measure about us, we measure for ourselves. So we are up in retention. We're up in graduation. We're up in peer assessment, which is how others think about your university. And we're up in alumni engagement, again, for the second year in a row. But most notable for me is the social mobility score. So social mobility is, can you matriculate and graduate those students from the lowest resource communities at the same rate that you're graduating your general population? Now, remember, my friends, there are 3,000 colleges and universities out there. We are number 30 along those lines, up from 59 last year. Makes us in the top 1% for social mobility in the country. That's something you should be very, very proud of, because that is Delaware State. That is our mission, being able to take students from any background and ability, put them in a diverse mix of folks from all different backgrounds and ability, and make sure that they all succeed. So to take an opportunity to really think about our social mobility score and why that's important to this wonderful university of yours. I think you all have seen an opportunity that was afforded me a couple of weeks ago to be the chair of the White House Initiative on HBCUs. This is quite an honor for me, but it's more an honor because I know that the White House and the administration are very, very focused on HBCUs, actually since President Biden entered office. I did a Dear Colleague letter the other day, so literally wrote to all of my sister institutions around the country and set out some key priorities for the HBCU initiative. One, physical infrastructure. I thought that was very important because we know that unlike many of our PWI peers, we have not gotten the same level of investment to keep up and maintain our physical footprint. We also know that folks like Congresswoman Representative Alma Adams, our own Senator Chris Coons, and others are promoting HBCU Ignite, which is an infrastructure bill designed specifically for HBCUs. So we want to make sure that this priority gets across the finish line. The second point is federal agency alignment. How can we have more federal agency connecting with HBCUs? This is particularly important for our research interest. You may know that there are 3 research classifications, 1, 2, and 3. The highest is 1. There are no HBCUs that are R1 in this country. And the president has made it quite clear, along with many folks in his staff, that there should be many more HBCUs at the R1 status. So one of the ways you get there is align yourself more deliberately with the federal agencies. And that is important for any number of reasons, most notably because we've been talking about that for a long time. Those folks who are able to get those big grants from the Department of Defense, National Science Foundation, the various departments across the federal government are the ones who will benefit significantly in advancing their own research interests. And my view is HBCU should be at the front of the line. Third one is student financial support. We want more ways for students to get the financial needs, that their financial needs met as they matriculate through this university and HBCUs throughout the country. You'll see a special interest for us to continue to raise the Pell Grant allocation for students from low resource communities, but also to ease the debt burden that many of our students have as they matriculate through their respective universities. And then finally, there's a purposeful focus on smaller HBCU institutions. We think this is important as well. Many people understand that there are the Council of 1890s, which are the land grant HBCUs that are largely have a strong research interest. You also know that Thurgood Marshall College Fund represents many of the public HBCUs, one of which we are, and the United Negro College Fund often represents the smaller HBCUs who don't always get the attention they need as they're building capacity there as well. So we want to have a special focus there as well. What's important about this is that we are aligning those priorities with our own priorities at the university. But we still have work to do. And I think you all know that the biggest opportunity for Delaware State University is our ability to better serve our customers. Our customers are our students primarily, their families, you all, and other stakeholders at the university. So we are being very deliberate around taking this particular strategic objective seriously. We've developed a strategic plan. One of the pillars of that strategic plan is operational excellence. And operational excellence really requires our organized focus across the university. So we're spending a lot of time, both internally and with some key consultants around how we can get better from a customer service perspective. I don't have to tell any of you, because I speak with a lot of alum about this particular area of opportunity for us. This is the key accelerator for Delaware State. When we get this right, we will move to an even greater level, even greater heights than we've seen thus far. And then finally, we just got the board approved our strategic plan last Thursday. You will be receiving that sometime later this week. Our strategic pillars, as I said, start with academic excellence, focusing on the whole student. Our student success, infrastructure enhancement, again, the physical footprint of the university. Financial health, making sure that we are blocking and tackling in the right way, particularly as it relates to preserving our precious resources and no longer doing more with less, finding ways to get more and doing more with more. And then operational effectiveness, as I said earlier, around our customer service pillars. So that is the presentation. I hope you all feel good about where your university is heading. But again, more importantly, I'm very, very interested in your questions, thoughts, and ideas. Thank you, Leah. Back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. Definitely appreciate that overview. So everyone in attendance at this time, we are going to transition to Q&A. We have a couple of questions from DSUAA that we're going to ask Dr. Allen, but for those of you online, please utilize the chat box if you have questions, or raise your hand and we'll try to call on you and have you ask your question as well. But we do want to hear you, so we ask that you take advantage of this opportunity to ask questions. So thank you again, Dr. Allen. And, I cannot say, I can never elaborate as far as how proud we are of the university. As alumni, It's our goal to continue to support the university and to align directly with the mission and vision and goals that you shared. The first question that we had is just, what is your vision for the role of alumni as it relates directly to the university and the university's success?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week. I think the alumni have a real critical role as it relates to engagement at the university level. And I don't think we've always gotten that right, but I feel very good that our team is thinking much more deliberately about how alumni can always feel welcome back to the university and always feel like they can contribute in whatever way they think is most appropriate to advance the university forward. So I spend a lot of time thinking about that. We certainly, the 130th anniversary is just one example of that, where that was really an alumni engagement activity that actually is still going on now. But there are other examples of that as well. And I want you all to think through where you see the best and highest use for your own personal time and talent, but also make sure that you understand the university and are connecting with the proper leaders in the organization so you can get your voice heard. Secondly, your sounding board. I know if I ask an alumni how they are feeling about the university or a specific issue about the university, they're going to give me an honest answer. And sometimes those answers are hard to hear, but they are no less honest. That is important, that we are able to receive that feedback and then act on that feedback in a thoughtful way. Third is transparency. You know, we have spent a lot of time intentionally trying to communicate in this way. These are larger settings, but we certainly do them in smaller settings. Really being able to say to you, Leah, and your team, hey, we're going to go in this direction. What do you think? Do you have any opportunities for improvement for us? And not let the newspaper be the first time you hear something good or bad about the university. So you guys are going to be our first communications channel. We don't always get that right, but I think we're doing a much better job than we have in the past. And then finally, I think you know this, when I first started at the university as president, I said I wouldn't ask for any money from the alumni until I felt like we had earned the opportunity to make the ask. I think we are in the process of earning that opportunity. And it is key that you not only spend time engaging with us, but when you do have some resources that you want to contribute to your beloved alma mater, that you make that commitment. There are two things I tell you about that. One, you are now at Vito, keep me honest here, this is now about 16% of alumni engagement at the university. It's one of the drivers of the U.S. News and World Report ranking. You may say 16% is a small number, but compared to other universities of any size, by the way, it's actually a really powerful number. Do we want to get to 25, 30, 40? Absolutely. But you're heading in the right direction. It's been consistent for a couple of years. That's important. The other part of this is we want to make sure that you all understand the number of opportunities you can contribute to the university. We don't talk enough about estate planning. We don't talk enough about direct debit every month. You know, I have been contributing to the university since I started here, just through direct debit. I don't even think about it anymore. And it's been 4 years, and whatever that little money is, I'm sure will add up. The same can be true for you, but we have to make sure that you have the tools to do that. And then the last thing I'd say is the planning relative to some of the things you saw in the strategic plan. We're going to need your support as it relates to our physical footprint. We're going to need your support as it relates to operational effectiveness. So again, having an open line of communication and then building the capacity for us to do things together and have you be our first ambassadors is very, very important to the growth of the university.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. And so I just wanted to, piggyback off of that to our alumni on the call. It's very key that you connect with us as DSUAA because we want to ensure that we are communicating your voice when we do interact with the president and his leadership team. So please, at any time, feel free to reach out to me or any member of our team at dsuaa@alumni.com and share your voice with us. We want to hear your concerns. We want to hear all the great things that you're proud of. Please feel free to reach out to us. And then again, just also emphasize there's so many ways to give back to the university, and we do provide those opportunities through DSUAA. So thank you, Dr. Allen. Great. The next question that we have, and you did mention this as part of your overview, just the expansion of the university. And of course, we are extremely proud that Delaware State University purchased Wesley College. And so the question that we have is just what are the future plans for the Wesley campus and the continuous transition of Wesley alumni into the Delaware State University family?
So, Lee, I'm gonna hold everybody to this. It's DSU downtown now. We don't call it Wesley College anymore.
DSU downtown. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
But in all seriousness, with respect to Wesley, Old Wesley, think about it this way. We have the College of Health and Behavioral Sciences there now. So literally the entire college has moved there. And that's important for us because that institution had some exceptional health sciences programming, all of which we were able to secure. So to build capacity there in a thoughtful way, I think will rival similarly situated health sciences colleges. But there is room for us to grow as well, as you know. And when I think about the athletic fields, which we're just beginning to talk about now, and their use for the broader community and for ourselves, when I think about early college high school, which we expect to move to DSU downtown next fall, the opportunities from my perspective are really limitless. And then there are some core things you may not know that are very interesting that we now have in our portfolio. So there is a place called the Cannon House that was the old Wesley president's house, which is a great opportunity for us to do some entertaining in some thoughtful ways, new events right downtown in that location. There's a theater at Wesley that we're going to be able to take advantage of as well. So when you just think about the assets that they have brought, that we have been able to secure through this acquisition, there are a lot more ways for us to get a lot of use out of it. And that's one of the things I can say that alumni can be very, very helpful on, just thinking through how we get full utility. Now, with respect to the Wesley alum, Leah, you and your team have already done a good job. The fact that we actually have an affinity group focused on Wesley alum is very important. I think it's going to mean a lot for them for any number of reasons. But I also want us to get to the point, I know you all feel the same way, where we're not just engaging them from their Wesley experience, but they are now feeling the broader Delaware State University experience. That actually won't be easy. I know what it is to merge cultures. I certainly was on the acquired side in my previous life, and I know what that means too. But if we are significantly patient and deliberate, I think we will get there. And the numbers that you saw reflected in my presentation will just grow even further from there.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. And literally the goal of that affinity group is to welcome them into our DSUAA family and keep that DSUAA umbrella as we interact with the DSU downtown campus. So just continuing with our questions, and again, everyone in attendance, I do just want to emphasize that, please utilize the chat box or raise your hand if you do have a question for Dr. Allen at this time, because we do want to take questions from those in the audience. So the next question that we have is, you did mention customer service, and a lot of alumni have expressed, of course, their natural just concerns. So what steps is the university taking as it relates to improving customer service and the customer courtesy that the university has?
Yeah, so there are a couple of things, and I've always tried to be candid here. We've been talking about this for some time now, but we've now had a unique opportunity to engage McKinsey Consulting. I know many of you know McKinsey, world-class consulting organization, to really help us think through how we get better at customer service. And one of the things that they are doing very deliberately is having us think through how we build a rapid response command center that will have some significant utility. You don't want to, and I know many of you have experienced this, but you don't want to call Delaware State and it go into a black hole. You always want to be able to have a person pick up the phone, understand what your clear needs are, direct you to the right person, and that other person resolve your call. That is the first order of business for us. I simply call it picking up the phones, but it really is about building a team that knows a lot, so it's a bit of an ombudsman themselves, but can direct you appropriately so you can get your questions answered. There's also this notion that, and this is from Dr. Patrice Gilliam Johnson, who runs our graduate school and does a lot of badging and certifications. We are planning to work with a company that can really go through an orientation for customer service and effectively get us all certified on the core tenets of what it means to deliver on what we call the brand promise. That'll be an important and a major shift for us, because it won't be just the folks that are in financial aid or student accounts. It'll be our entire university actually going through that process together, getting certified, and then delivering in the right way every day. And then the final thing I'd say is there are some software and hardware tools that we're going to take advantage of. We're going to have to make some investments in that regard, so that when we can do things through a solution, an IT solution that works for our students and their families, we use it, and they know that it's functional, gets them the answers they need, et cetera. We have some of that functionality now, but we want to do a much better job of building the capacity so there can be some self-serve, but if you need a person, you can also get a person as well.
Wonderful. It's great to hear those plans. Thank you, Dr. Allen. So I did receive a question from the audience. And so that first question is, what is the plan for homecoming and people coming to campus that do not follow the COVID protocols? Will there be a heavy presence at the entrances? So what is the plan for homecoming? Sorry, go ahead.
So we are having homecoming. One, I should have started there. I know people have that on their mind. We are having homecoming. I actually expect it to be a fairly large gathering. And so we are taking extra precautions. On Thursday of this week, you'll see my note relative to those protocols. There will be testing required prior to coming to campus. We will be highly focusing on vaccinations for folks too. And there will be some other priorities. Just as a practical matter, you may know this, but any inside function at the university today requires a mask. No exceptions. What we are trying to do a little bit more deliberately is have some more outside functions that don't have that requirement. Unless you were not vaccinated, then you actually had to wear a mask outside as well. So you'll see that much of what we might have done inside in a normal year, we're going to try to do more of that outside in this year. We'll also think through the safety and security of the campus. So you'll see that from a safety perspective, we'll have many more officers on campus helping us throughout the weekend for any number of reasons. We'll have some special guidelines for tailgating, because I know that's important as well. And then as we think about the specific evening programs, both on Friday night and Saturday night, we're going to have to make sure that the student events sort of have their own time and section, and the alumni events have them following suit as well. So I know you do. You all do some things off campus as well. But once we get to the university, you'll know what those guidelines are. You'll have them a month in advance for sure. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can certainly reach out to me or Dr. Pickle.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. And from a DSUAA perspective, we are 100% following the university's guidelines, and we do plan on sharing our finalized schedule with you soon as well. So our next question from the audience is from Roger. Thank you, Roger, for your question. So good evening and congratulations on a job well done. How can I get more involved / engaged remotely and physically with the university when a chapter does not exist in my geographic location, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? So I'll go ahead and take this question. And of course, Dr. Allen, if there's anything that you'd like to add, but we'd love to connect with you, Roderick. We have a lot of opportunities virtually. We're striving to work with the students to have speakers virtually connect with them via Zoom. And so there's plenty of opportunities for you to come in as a speaker. And there's a lot of other activities that do not necessarily have to involve a local chapter in your area to participate. So if you could please reach out to us, we'll connect you with our student engagement lead, our alumni representative, and you will be able to directly engage with the students remotely. So I hope that answered your question, Roderick. Thank you. The next question is, are there any plans to increase funding for marching band recruitment? As an HBCU, this plays a large part in student recruitment and alumni and community involvement.
Yeah, and I don't know the specific answer to that, although I know you all know that we hired 2 alum to lead the band over the summer, and they are both very good and very aggressive. So I am looking forward to seeing their request as we grow the organization. I was actually pretty proud of the band as I heard them play over the last 2 home games. So I do think we are going to make the right investments there and build capacity. It's not lost on me how important all of our co-curricular activities are, but certainly the legacy of our band, the Approaching Storm, and HBCU bands across the country is significant. You'll note that our band will be participating in some HBCU week activities that are national of consequence to us. You know that the HBCU week in Wilmington is actually sponsored by Stephen A. Smith of ESPN, along with the city of Wilmington. It's mostly virtual, but they're going to be any number of activities, including a battle of the bands, where we will participate. So you can expect that there's a lot more coming down the pike as we continue to invest in the approaching storm, and all those kids who see the approaching storm when they were little and think about coming to Delaware State to do just that, like Leah.
Absolutely, Dr. Allen, proud band alum. And to those band alum on the call, one of our other affinity groups that we are establishing is specifically for the band alumni. So if you'd love to get engaged with that, please reach out to us, because that group can focus on supporting the new band director, new assistant band director, and those students. The next question we have is, what is the university doing to get wealthy individuals to contribute funds to the university? They mentioned, of course, Mackenzie Scott made a significant contribution, but are there plans, strategies to get other funded donations to the university from wealthy individuals?
Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Pickram in a second here, but before I do, yes, that is really about building what you have seen over the last 2 years, I hope, is our building on a big brand and associating ourselves with some iconic philanthropic companies and some philanthropic people who are iconic, in fact, as well. Those things don't happen overnight. Those engagements are usually multi-year. We certainly have a target list, but I can say, and I know Vita will say this, the most significant donors we have are a small dollar. That's for any organization. That is for any organization. So you don't know what it means for us to have 21,000 small dollar donors who are very committed to Delaware State. Those things add up even more than the one-time significant $20 million contribution here or there. So it's not like we don't have bigger targets on our list. We certainly do. We certainly have some prominent alum who we want to give more as well. But I do not want you to forget or undervalue your personal contribution, regardless of that amount, to the university. Vita?
Hello, alums. Yes, I love this question, because one of the things that's happening is because you see us in the news all the time now. That's helping us with the very group that you're talking about. You know, we were once called the best kept secret in Delaware. Well, now we're not anymore, because, the president has had an intentional approach on getting our messages out there. The alumni have helped us to get our messages out there. We said we needed more ambassadors talking about Delaware State University. And in doing so, we're having individuals calling, establishing endowments, people that have never interacted with the university before, and also admit that they've never even been on our campus. But now, they're saying, okay, well, I think I would like to establish an endowment at Delaware State. And we've had 5 of those just last month. To establish an endowment is like $10,000. That starts the relationship. So the more that we can tell the Delaware State University story, the more that we can highlight all the great things happening at the university and align our business model with their interests, we're going to get those individuals right and left. And also, we don't want to just focus on Delaware. Many of you live in states all across the country. Those individuals in your state can also know about Delaware State University, because the students that are in a part of our student body right now, most of them end up going back to their state. So we're actually developing the workforce of, that particular state. So with that, we want to do more messaging that we can get out across the United States and actually around the world about the great things happening here. And then more and more people, as the president mentioned, will want to align their brand, their philanthropic dollars with Delaware State University. So we're working on it. Any guidance or ideas that you have, no idea is a bad idea, we welcome all of it. So, please be in touch about that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Pickram.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next question, as the director of the White House Initiative, congratulations, but will this cause an additional burden? I know that President Clinton expanded the role of the White House Initiative. Will you still report to the Secretary of Education?
Well, I don't report to anybody. Mine is not a full-time role. It's the chair of the President's Board of Advisors on HBCUs. There is an executive director that runs the White House Initiative on HBCUs, and it is full-time. In fact, we are looking for that exec. So in addition to me recommending a new board of advisors. I'll also be involved in the interview process for the executive director. If you saw the executive order come out, I think it was 3 weeks ago now, the president did make a very direct move to align the White House initiative much closer to the White House, which is very important. The previous administration actually put it back in the Department of Education, and there was not a lot of activity for the 4 years preceding. So it was not only naming a chair, understanding how to find a new exec, but also bringing the initiative closer to the administration itself. And I think the president and vice president have done a nice job there. Do we have lots of work to do? We sure do. But to have it much more directly connected to the administration, we think makes perfect sense.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. To the alum that mentioned they live in Connecticut and would like to share some ideals of how they can get wealthy individuals to contribute, please feel free to, again, reach out to us at dsuaa@alumni.com, and we'll be sure to connect you also with Dr. Pickram's office. Okay, an additional question. Just one of the goals, Dr. Allen, that you have mentioned is the goal of increasing DSU enrollment to up to 10,000 students. And so what steps are being taken by the university to continue to expand the campus and accommodate those students?
So that's a great question. I'll take them in two parts. So yes, 10,000 is the goal. That's a goal by 2029. When you see the strategic plan, which we're calling Reach 2026, it's a 5-year plan. We hope to be at 7,500 by 2026. That is a combination of several things. Residential population, and my feeling is we probably have needs of another 1,000 beds to do that. I think you noticed some of our residential housing stock is antiquated, so we're going to have to refurbish and build new at the same time. So expect to hear more along those lines for sure. Our international profile continues to grow. So when I think about where we are internationally and delivering the courses over the curriculum over there, it's very important whether that be in Changchun or Ningbo, China, or many of the programs we're offering now in South America, and what we're trying to do in Africa. We're building some capacity to really reach much more deliberately. And then the graduate student profile, as I said, has significantly increased. They actually have a goal of getting to 1,000 by next fall, and then 2,500 by 2026. So if we can have a graduate population that is a quarter of the overall population, I feel good about a couple of things, including our research prospects and that R1 status. And then finally, for those of you from Delaware, remember that we now have a full tuition scholarship for Delawareans who are graduating seniors called the Inspire Scholarship. Literally pays full tuition for all 4 years. That particular effort started in 2011 under then Dr. Williams' exceptional leadership, was expanded through Dr. Michoud, and we were able to get full funding just this past legislative session. I expect that will increase our numbers significantly as well. So I think the target of 10,000 is reasonable. I think the mix is important because I don't think that it's all residential undergraduate student population, but it does go to where we're growing and where we believe the needs are of the workforce.
Absolutely. I'm truly excited to just see the continuous growth of Delaware State University. And then to those graduate students online, I did want to, of course, mention GSA. They're partnering with DSUAA this weekend, along with the Institution of Advancement, to provide, a pre-homecoming mixer. So those of you interested in graduate school or current graduate students, please come out to that event and connect with us. Okay, so everyone, we're probably going to take just maybe no more than 3 additional questions to Dr. Allen. And Dr. Allen, we greatly appreciate you taking the time, as well as your just transparency and honesty throughout all of this information. So we're going to take no more than maybe 3 more questions. So I'll have 1 more question for Dr. Allen. We'll try to take 2 more from the audience. So Dr. Allen, with the recent hires, including the new athletic director and several coaches, what is your vision and goals for the athletics program? And is there a timetable desired to return to Prominence?
I'm going to have Alicia take that question. I know she's on the line here. I do think we made a great pick in our new AD, who comes with as much spirit and energy as she does with intellect. She's really an AD's AD. So we're very fortunate to have her in the role. I also think you've seen a couple of, exceptional hires with respect to our coaching population. And on the Prominence front, I know folks want us to win in football and basketball. I certainly want that too. But you need to follow some of these other sports like volleyball, which is they're knocking it out of the park right now. Really, really knocking it out of the park right now. So Alicia, I'll turn it over to you to talk about your vision for the program.
Dr. Allen, and I apologize. I'm actually in transit, and so you may kind of be able to see my face a little bit, but I will truly say this is a great day to be a Hornet, and you will always hear me say that mantra because I am very proud and humbled to lead this athletic department. I am really excited about this opportunity, and so with that, I want to share with you 3 key words: champions, scholars, and citizens. That is what we will be focused on. So as we align the athletic department with the mission and vision of the university and President Allen, we want to ensure, though, that at all times we are focused on improving the overall student athlete experience. That's paramount. So when you talk about champions, that's an experience. That's an environment. That's a culture. And I know when you think about, some of you can remember when Delaware State was at its height. And so we've seen that. 21 years I've been a Delaware resident. And so while I was not at Delaware State, I was always envious of the success that Delaware State and its athletic department represented. So there's a proud history that we want to return to that. But in order for us to do that, it's going to start internally with us ensuring that we do all the right things to increase and ensure that the student athlete experience is paramount. Also, we want to make sure that we look at scholars. They're here first and foremost to be students. I'm very proud that our departmental GPA is over 3.0, and we're graduating student athletes at a high rate. So we want to continue to do that. And last, when we think about citizens, that's key. Not every student athlete, not every scholar, not every champion that comes into us will have the opportunity to participate in pro athletics, but they will be pro in life in something. And so we want to ensure that we start guiding them as mentors and leaders to learn how to be just good citizens, how to start being alumni. We don't want to wait until they graduate, walk across the stage, and then say, hey, welcome to this new world. We want to start building that culture, and that's where it will start with you. So I do have some very ambitious goals, but of course, if we can just get you to remember those 3 key words: champions, scholars, citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gadsden.
Thank you, Alicia. Leah, the only thing I want to add, I hope everybody felt that energy, because she comes with that energy every time she walks in the room. I do want to say one more thing, because I think it's important. We're going to make some investments too in the athletic area. We have to look like champions, and we have to be promoting scholarship, and our citizens need to feel good about home. So know that I've heard many of you on that score. Again, these aren't things that can happen overnight, but I am committed to making some investments in our image so that people are very attracted to us on site here at Delaware State University, whether that be prospective students and fans or just a broader community.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. A follow-up question that's still tied to athletics is, what is the future of the MEAC and our participation?
So I feel very strong about where the MEAC is right now. I know we have taken some blows over the last couple of years. I think you've heard me talk about the prominence of the MEAC in my view. You will know that Delaware State University specifically was the core founder of the MEAC through Dr. Luna Michoud. We take that responsibility very seriously. I think you've heard that our MEAC commissioner, a good man, Dennis Thomas, is retiring. I'm actually the search committee chair for the new commissioner itself. So we hope to, in the next 30 to 45 days, actually have a new commissioner with an even bolder vision for how we come together. We do need to do a couple of things, recruit some more universities to the MEAC. I'm confident that we can do that. You probably have already begun to see the MEAC's new marketing campaign, which quite frankly is focused on champions, scholars, and citizens. I don't know if they stole it from Alicia or not, but it's clear through all of our ads that is where we're focused. So it is not, and I know you've all heard me say this, it's not really how you fall down. Yes, we lost a couple of institutions, but the company we keep, I'll take every day. And I think our ability to grow and attract new company that aligns with our mission, core values, and our competitive spirit is certainly within our sights, and we're all focused on that. And I can tell you my colleagues feel the exact same way.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Allen. I just wanted to also thank Ms. Gadsden because she has just been so open with connecting with alumni. I know she's speaking with our Newcastle County chapter later this month. She's connected with us at the national level, especially with our alumni representatives. So I just wanted to, say a special thank you to that. So with that, we have about 5 minutes remaining. I do not see any additional questions from the audience. So Dr. Allen, I just wanted to give you a chance, just any final closing remarks for alumni.
I don't think so, except to say that I know I talk about this a lot. I am really quite proud to be the Delaware State University president. It is the opportunity of a lifetime for me. It really is an opportunity of a lifetime for me, but it is not about me. My team is an incredible group of people who are in this fight every day to make sure that we can open up doors for generations of students yet unborn. And when you think about that, you go to work with that kind of spirit, it opens you up to a lot of things. It opens you up to failures, and we think we learn from our failures. It opens you up to enormous opportunities, and we try to take every opportunity possible. And it also gives you a reason to really focus on changing the life trajectories for students, their families, and their communities. And I think that's why you all believe in Delaware State, because it happened to you. So what I would say is continue to push us. Know that we can take it. We want to get better, and we want to honor your great institution and what it has meant for Delawareans and the country for many, many years now. So thank you for all you are doing and what you will continue to do.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Allen, Dr. Pickram, Ms. Gadsden. We cannot thank you all enough for just taking the time to meet, have this discussion with our alumni, for your transparency, your honesty, and also your vision. We can really see where the university is going. And, on behalf of DSUAA, I'd like to just thank you and say how proud we are, and anything that we can do to support the university, we would like to do so. So to all of the alumni on the call, thank you all for taking the time out to join. Please stay connected with us. Please reach out to DSUAA. We want to continue to meet your needs and to hear from you. So let's all stay connected. But thank you, Dr. Allen. Thank you, everyone. And that will conclude this event. Take care.
Peace, everybody.